Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well today. At the ADHD Melly Show, I'm going to have Rob Roy here with me, and I hope you're doing well because it's coming now, and we're going to ask some question about how it feels and self-acceptance and stuff like that. If you don't know me, I'm Melly Moore, and I'm a French speaker, so sometimes it may happen that you have a difficulty to understand what I'm saying, but I'm really doing my best to make the conversations fun and cool and stuff like that. Okay, so I can't wait to have you here, and I hope you're going to have fun on this little chat. And I'm going to present you to Rob Roy. Everybody clap their hands. Hello, I hope you're doing well, Clara.
I'm great. How are you? Now, I wish that I could speak French, because then we could just speak in French, and no one would understand what we were talking about.
Yeah, I know. But I'm going to have a person that's going to come this August, and he speaks French too. And it's going to be fun because sometimes he's going to help me with my English. Sometimes it's going to be easier, right?
Yeah, awesome.
So please introduce yourself to start. Who are you?
I'm Rob Roy, and for those of you who don't know me on LinkedIn, I am a gender fluid, or gender fabulous, as I like to say, fashion designer, and I am trying to create a space that allows people to be comfortable and happy in the clothes that they wear, no matter who they are, their body shape, their gender, their gender identity, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to give them that ability to do that. So that's who I am.
What is gender fluidity? Is this a difference with that and non-binary? What is the difference?
Well, for me, gender fluid is someone who kind of runs in between both male and female, which is me. I dress in men's clothes. I dress in women's clothes. I blend the two together. I change my looks from day to day, depending on how I'm feeling. I even have, like, one side of my head is more long hair, one side is more short hair. So they kind of, I mean, not that having long hair or short hair has anything to do with femininity or masculinity, but it is a traditional understanding of haircuts. Like, well, wait, I'm having a hard time because everything's opposite. So this is more like, this cut is more like a men's cut, and whereas this cut is a little bit more like a women's cut, traditional. I'm not talking about that whether it should be or shouldn't be. I'm just talking about traditional social norms. That's all I'm saying. And I don't want there to be any confusion on that. When I say traditional, I'm talking about traditional norms. I'm not talking that I believe that.
Yeah, it's true.
That's what society thinks.
Because if I dress like a male, nobody's going to say anything about me as a woman looking like a woman. They're never going to say anything. But for a guy wearing a dress, it's like people don't accept it normally. That's wrong, because if I wear pants, I'm okay. If I if I cut my hair, nobody's going to say anything about me. But for you, they're going to look at you. That's not okay.
Right. Well, and, honestly, I've always been loud. I've always, done crazy stuff with my hair. I've always worn clothes that have made people feel uncomfortable, even if it wasn't wearing a dress. Like, even just wearing a pink shirt can sometimes rile people up. Like, oh my God, a pink shirt. No, you can't do that. That's just crazy. Or florals, like guys wearing florals is like, no,
You want to know historical thing? In the past, having wearing pink was for guys, actually, like past. Like in medieval, pink was for guys, and it was not for girl. Who decided to change that? Who decided a color is a gender? It shouldn't be like that, right?
It shouldn't be like that at all. so that's one of the things that I'm trying to break that stigma down. And we can have people like Harry Styles in dresses and Billy Porter and all those people, but I think that they're celebrities, and celebrities can do things that the average person can't do, simply because people just write them off as being, oh, they're just a celebrity. We're not gonna we don't really, yeah, it's cool, but it doesn't matter. But if they see, and even if they think it's cool, if they see a guy on the street wearing a dress who's not Harry Styles or Billy Porter, then they just get, oh my God, that guy.
Or they're not going to say anything, but they're going to look you with the eyes, The eye is going to say everything.
Yeah. Well, some people say things. I get comments. I get a lot of looks, but I also get comments. Some are nice, like, wow, those are awesome heels. And some are less pleasant, like, you're a fag. I'm like, whatever, and yes, some days, and no on other days. So, would you like to be me?
Although speaking and say something on LinkedIn and say, I've worn pink, I wish someone would say something.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of fun when people do say things about something as innocuous as just wearing pink. It's like, are you kidding me? It's so odd. It's so odd. But anyway.
Did you always knew that you were gender fluid, or it came when you were older?
It's funny because I knew you were going to ask me this question, and a lot of people have asked me this question. So I've really spent a lot of time thinking about it, and it's kind of it's not really a long story, but it starts when I was fairly young. So as I found my father's Playboys in the attic when I was about 11. And as any good 11 or 12-year-old boy would do, I pulled them down to my room because I thought, oh, these are really fun. Well, my mom found them and she was like, oh my God, you can't have these. And she made my father have the talk with me. I remember he asked me, he's like, so why do you like these girls? And my dad was a Marine Corps drill sergeant, so there was, it wasn't like I was having conversations about my gender with him. But I remember thinking the first thing that came into my mind wasn't that I think they're pretty, that I think that anything like that. It was because I want to look like them. And I suppressed that. Like, I really pushed that down a lot. So I think that probably when I was 11 or 12, I knew. But I didn't really understand what it meant until probably, I don't know, when I was in my 20s sometime. So, but yeah, that's probably the first understanding of it.
But I've seen that you have children, so I suppose that you had a partner. Did your partner knew about that? What she or he?
Yeah. I mean, she knew that. She knew that. I mean, she's always known that I was bisexual. Everyone. I mean, I've always been fairly out about that. But I think that, and she always knew that I loved wearing clothes. I mean, she was a fashion designer. That's where we met. We met in college, and so, yeah, it was never really an issue for her. I have had issues, showing up on dates with people and looked. I'm very clear on dating apps and stuff. Like when I was dating, because I have a partner now. When I was dating, I was very clear about who I was. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some people, they read something online and then when they actually see it, it's something completely different.
True.
So, yeah.
And how your family thought when you came out more and more, how your family think about it, your children and etc.
Well, my daughter is, and my daughter thinks it's awesome. I mean, if she was old enough, she would want to go to my shows. I'm a drag queen, so I perform live, but all those places they're all like 21 and over. So so she can't, but she would love to, and she has helped me. She's helped me pick out clothes and help me get ready. And I mean, because I don't know if you've ever put a corset on, but sometimes it's hard to get the corset.
Yeah, I did. I know what it is.
So she's helped me a couple times with my corset. So she knows. She totally knows.
You're still lucky of not having boobs because it's even tighter.
Yeah, exactly. All of my boobs are very fake. They're,
Yeah. So I was also wondering, how did you mentally feel when you were hiding a little bit more? How did it affect your mental health?
I don't know. I've had a lot of things happen to me in my life, so I think that more than anything, I was dealing with those things more than my fluidity and more than my sexuality, because I've never really had an issue with those things. But I really wish that I had embraced this sooner than now, because
Will you have changed it if you could?
Maybe. I mean, had transitioning been as easy in 1989 as it is today,
Yes,
I mean, who knows? I could be sitting here and be a woman. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to look back and make those kinds of decisions. But I know now, I've been in this body for so long that I like my body. I like who I am, and I don't think that I want to change. So.
Don't need to change. Some people change very late too, but it's not an obligation. I think as you do drag queen, maybe it helps you feel a little bit better with your body. Maybe. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I talk to a lot of trans women about this, and some are very, very happy with their transition, and I would say most, but I think that a lot of them also have problems kind of making the change, and it might feel like exactly the right thing before the transition, and then all of a sudden hormones start to kick in, and things really, like surgery happens and things like that, and all of a sudden it's, wow, this is real. And so I don't know. I mean, I think that that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't want to transition, because I am happy in my body. But I don't know whether that's just because I've been in it for so long, or whether that's because this is the body that I'm supposed to be in. I don't know whether that makes any sense or not. But.
It does make sense. Yeah. It's true. When you're used to something, it's like the reflection is going to change in the mirror, and it's hard. It's the same thing when you lose a lot of weight. When you're very overweight, you change a lot and you don't recognize yourself. That can be hard too with the mental health too.
Yeah.
And as you do some drag queen, do you know Ruta Baga?
I don't.
She's a drag queen from Montreal. She almost won the drag show.
Drag Canada. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, I don't really watch RuPaul anymore, because I think Ru's kind of making me crazy. So it's like, I haven't watched it in a while. So, yeah.
but we have a good community in Montreal, so you're welcome if you want to come one day to the parade and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
And
I think you will be really welcome there.
I love Montreal. I grew up in northern New York, so we used to go to Montreal. And I love it there. It's a beautiful, beautiful city, and I feel like it has a very metropolitan feel, which I like a lot. So,
Hi,
hi,
Silver. Talk,
hi.
talk. She's there. She's on Twitch.
Yeah. That's DJ. Hi, DJ.
Hello to you. I hope you're doing well today. Thank you for stepping by. And I also see that Big Chillin is there too. I want to say thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for the lovely comment.
Yeah.
I don't know if you do see those comments. I think you do see them,
Do.
right? Yeah,
I
you do.
do.
Okay.
And I'm glad that I actually had to get onto the computer, because when I'm doing this on my phone, I can never see the comments. So now I can. So I'm always going to do it this way from now on.
Yeah, it's amazing because I know there's a lot of people on LinkedIn too. I think they don't see us, but they don't see those comments, but we do. So it's very fun like that.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to talk about a serious subject, okay? If you don't want to talk about it, it's okay. I know that a lot of people LGBTQ attempt suicide each year, okay?
Mhm.
And I know it's mainly because they are not accepted. What would you say to somebody that wants to think about that? That is near the edge right now?
I think that the most important thing that you can do is find professional help. And for me, as someone who has been in that spot many times, the best thing to do is to call your best friend, call someone, call anyone. Get your dog to come and sit in your lap, get your cat to come and sit in your lap. Do anything that you can to remind yourself that there is someone there that wants you around. So but yeah, professional help. I mean, I see a therapist every week, and I have for years now, and I never will stop seeing my therapist. I love my therapist. She's awesome. She has bailed me out of tons of really horrible spots. So yeah, that would be my advice. I think pets are a fabulous thing to have, especially if you're alone. If you don't have a partner, I think pets are great.
I have 2 cats. I have 1 kitten and a big one now, and I do understand. Even with ADHD, sometimes I feel alone and it's hard, and it really does help me just be calmer. It's my new cat, my little kitten, is way more effective than my big one, and I'm like, I needed you. Thank you for being there now.
Yeah, exactly. I know my dog is very, well, I don't want to call him needy, but he is needy. He, and he knows if I'm anxious, he knows, and he will come over and try and give me affection. And sometimes I push him away, because my anxiety makes me very very stressed. So it's hard because I don't want to push him away because he's so sweet, but at the same time, sometimes I just can't have that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I understand, and the same for my cat. But my big cat, because I just had my little kitten, is going to go away by himself. So it's not really a good support. It's a bad cat for that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to leave.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't
Totally.
like to be too much hugged, but she likes it. So I feel
Yeah.
like it's a perfect cat for me. And for dog, there's a lot of dog therapists that exist that are trained to support people with mental health issue, and there's a lot of studying about that helping. So I think it's something that should be known more. A pet is not a luxury, something that can help you as much as medication if you need it.
Yeah, completely. I agree completely. Okay.
So, will you like to share a little bit more something, or do you want me to ask you other question that I haven't asked? Do you have something that you will want to share with me?
I actually I would prefer to answer your questions, your show. So, if you like, I'm happy to talk about pretty much anything. So if there's something that maybe you've wanted to ask people and felt uncomfortable, I'm totally, I'll tell you. I'm pretty much an open book. I mean, a lot of people know a lot of stuff about me, and there's certain things that I won't talk about.
No, I don't. I'm
Mhm.
not going to force
Yeah,
anyone to say anything they don't want to
yeah,
anyway. But I
yeah.
want to ask somebody that are LGBT because I'm not. So sometimes I cannot understand everything. Okay, and
Uh-huh.
sometimes I feel it hard. Sometimes for person that are not in the group to understand because as I am French, I know that non-binary people want to be called they. And for me it doesn't make sense literally speaking because for me it's like
Right,
plural.
right.
Why do you think they want to be called them and they don't invent a new pronoun instead?
Um, so for me, first of all, I don't use the pronoun they, and the reason I don't is because I don't feel non-gender. It's not like I'm neither man nor woman, which I think, and some people who use the word they will not agree with me on that, but that's my
It's your
opinion.
opinion I'm asking anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I think the reason why is because for so long everything has been genderized. Everything has been masculine or feminine, man or woman, boy, girl, whatever. And I think that those individuals want to break away from that gender, from that genderized form of communication. And I think that's what the issue is. For me, that's not me. I wake up in the morning and I feel more masculine. I feel more feminine. So I refer to myself as he and she and fluid, because I'm never in between. I'm either, well, I'm always in between, but I don't see that as being non-gender. Um, I, 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 I celebrate my gender and I celebrate who I am with all of my faults. And I have a lot, but I celebrate. And I think that's one of the reasons why I have been able to conquer my suicide ideation is because I celebrate who I am.
That's a great thing.
And yeah.
I do not believe this, but it's still going to be a question I'm going to ask. A lot of people think that being transgender or being gay or stuff like that is fashion, is a new fashion to be out. Okay, what do you think about that?
Okay, so I have been what in the LGBTQ community is affectionately called fag bashed. I've been fag bashed 3 times. Once almost to death. So if anyone wants to talk to me about my choice of who I am, or call it a choice for that, then and to think that I would make it a choice to be almost beaten to death, then they're crazy. Like,
Yeah, I understand. It's really hard. I know, and I heard terrible story about that too. People getting beat up and stuff like that just because they're not straight, which is a
yeah,
problem. Or even they can be straight, but they like to put woman clothes. It doesn't
yeah.
mean you don't like the opposite sex or whatever. It doesn't mean anything to wear woman clothes, right?
No, it doesn't. And I think that a lot of people think that if a guy wears women's clothes, or even clothes that are loud and bright and all of those things, that makes them gay. It doesn't make them gay. It makes them want to wear bright colored clothes. I mean, come on, that's what about bright colored clothes has anything to do with being gay? And there are tons of gay men out there who have no interest in wearing women's clothes. So it doesn't have anything. And then to go back to what you were saying about some people think that, being gay or being trans or whatever is a fashionable thing. So if that were the case, like all those people who think that, if you ask them, okay, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is a choice. So that means you could make that choice too. So would you make that choice? They're going to say no. So that, obviously, because that's not interesting to them. That's not what they want. So when they say stuff like that, it just comes across as extremely ignorant. It comes across as extremely hateful. And that's, I don't tell them that they should be bisexual. And I don't tell gay, like even the gay community, they riot on bisexual. It's like, make up your mind. I have made up my mind. I like both men and women. That's it. It's really not complicated. And I enjoy both.
I do think the reason why there's more is only because society is more open to them, so they decide to make the move to accept themselves, and not because it's a fashion trend.
Right.
It's true, there's a lot of people now that are open up, which was not the case 10 years ago, but I believe it's because society in 2021, people accepted more. What do you think about that?
Exactly. I mean, I think that's true. Like it's not a choice to be gay or bi or straight or anything. It's not a choice to do that. It's a choice to come out and tell the world that you are. That's the only choice. And and technically no one should have to do that. Like you shouldn't have to like sit in the closet and wait for that moment when you feel comfortable enough to tell someone. If society got to the point where they weren't so hateful, if they got to the point where if people were treated more like people rather than whatever, then we wouldn't have all this stuff where kids committing suicide. We wouldn't have it.
It's true.
We would. I mean, because there's certain chemical issues that that cause other stuff. It's not just about peer pressure and all those things, but certainly it would decrease.
Yeah, there's some study that say that why people are homosexual is biology, because their genetic need to stop. That's why they are gay or lesbian. There's a lot of study about that, but it's not something that you can change. You're born with it and you cannot do anything about it. You can hide it and pretend you like girls when you don't like girls,
Yeah. Well, and I think that I think that happens a fair amount with people. They go through their entire life and they have relationships with people, and maybe they're just not physical relationships. My grandmother, her second husband, they slept in different rooms, and I don't think I ever remember seeing them give each other a kiss or anything, or even hold hands. I just feel like it was a convenience marriage. They both liked each other. They loved talking to each other. And my grandmother had a lady friend who would come over for tea. And I think that was her like a partner, I mean, I don't know whether they were lovers or not, but I think that, that was, and at the time, that was probably the only way they could make things work, was to have that kind of relationship.
Now there's a lot of social media and internet videos of trans people that show their transition and stuff
Yeah.
like that, So do you think that that helped the kids or the teenager to understand a little bit more about themselves?
Um, yes and no. But I think that social media is a good thing and a horrible thing. So it can help you if you don't let it hinder you. And I think that I have a teenage daughter. I see what cyberbullying is, and I get cyberbullied even on LinkedIn. I mean, I get hate mail all the time
I
from.
feel a bit happy I didn't live in and too much internet with social media and stuff like that. So I've been bullied a lot when I was a kid. So I feel so happy this didn't happen. There was no Facebook, no Twitter, no Instagram. So I
Yeah,
feel so happy that my bully was stopping when I go home. But now bullying for kids, it's
yeah.
continuing even if they're home.
Yeah, it's always going on, and you're always worried about the likes, and you're always worried about who said what about you, and all of those things, and it never goes away. It's horrible. So I really think that yes, it's a good thing because it provides information for people, but it's a bad thing at the same time because it kind of makes it impossible to have bad things go away. Like if something bad happens to you and it's recorded and it's on social media, it's always there. It's never, ever,
Forever.
ever goes away. So, yeah.
And as a woman, sometimes there's things that you don't want to show on internet, but they happen in internet, or even for anyone, any gender that you did something impulsively and now you regret it, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. I'm sure that there's tons of people with nude pictures of themselves on the web. I
Yeah.
mean, I know there are of me. I mean, I like there are, and I've seen them, so I know. And like whatever, I don't care. I'm perfectly fine with that. I mean, I certainly wouldn't want my daughter to see it, but I mean, whatever. That's there. It is. It's So I mean, I just feel like you can't worry about stuff like that. So.
Yes, in internet everything is permanent.
Well, I mean, sort of like it's I mean there's so much on the internet that things get buried. I mean they absolutely get buried, and it's impossible. Like there's no way you would be able to find pictures of me. Like if you typed in my name or whatever, you would have to randomly come across it in the billions and billions and billions and billions of bits of pictures out there, and even then, would you really even know it was me? Probably not. I just don't care. I just don't care.
There's one advantage: you stay young forever.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
So if you're on the chat, please tell me that you're here. And if you have question for Rob, you can just tell me and just write it, and I'm going to ask him. For now, it's not the end, okay? I'm just going to ask him to tell me a little bit more, ask you to tell me a little bit more about your business. Why did you decide to do inclusivity clothes? Did you did a designer class? What makes that in your mind?
So I went to school for art. I went to college for fine art, and I was married to a fashion designer for a long time. I've always loved fashion as an art form. I like being a walking piece of art. But the reason why I started my company was because I was making clothes for myself as a drag queen, and I was also doing all the undergarments, all the stuff that would kind of hold me together and give me hips and all that. And then I thought, wow, this would be a great thing to do for the trans community, like trans women who, prior to hormones taking effect and all that, because you go through 3-4 years before your body really starts to really take shape. So, why not design clothes that help those people feel more like the person that they are, until their bodies catch up.
I know that I'm a woman, so I did that, but younger, right?
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of where it comes from. And now, it's for me, like I'm always asking my customers, like, what do you want from your clothes? Like, what are the things that you can't get, the complaints you have about clothing, all those things. And, the biggest issue is fit, especially for women, fit, body type, those kinds of things. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to make a list of the top 5 issues that people have, men and women alike. And then I want to try to address those things with my line. I mean, there's only so much I can do. I mean, I'm a small company, and but I can try, right? I mean, I can
work alone then.
Yeah.
So do you have some pieces near you that you can show on camera?
The shirt that I'm wearing, I mean, DJ will know, she has a duality shirt as well. So my duality shirts are, they come in all sorts of different colors, but it's all about the fact that we are not one single thing. We're made up of a bunch of different pieces. And I mean, for me, the duality shirt is about my masculine and feminine side. But for other people, it might be about, their the little angel on their shoulder and the little devil on their shoulder. I don't know. It's like, or, whatever, but we all have different pieces to us, and we have to embrace those, or else we're never going to be happy. And unless we really understand all the pieces that are inside us. So, so that's one. I also make pants and button down shirts, and right now that's all short sleeve stuff, but dresses, and I'm bringing in jewelry and shoes next year.
Cool, for shoes, because I know that if a guy wants to wear shoes, it's quite hard to just find the right size, right?
Yeah, it is, like, especially in heels, because I mean, for me, I wear a size 12 in most women's shoes, and that's a hard thing. And all the shoes that are designed for drag queens that really fit men's feet, are usually like really over the top, which I'm fine with over the top. I like over the top, but I don't want to wear over the top all the time. So, it would be nice to have, shoes that I like, that are heels, that aren't, 10-inch platforms.
Like a little bit more casual, which you can walk all day without being hurt, right?
Exactly. I mean, I don't always want to be, almost 7 feet tall. So
it's weird to say, because because I have very large feet, so a lot of heels doesn't even fit me, because I have a very wild feet, and sometimes when I wear them, they're too short, they're too long, because they have to be too long to fit me. So each time it's hard to just walk into them. So even for women or people that are normal size feet, even for me, it's impossible. So of course, if you make shoes that are woman 8, but they are large, I will thank you. I will probably buy them.
I mean, that's one thing that I've always wondered, why there weren't wide size heels, because there are lots of people out there with wide feet. I mean, why not have heels that are a little bit wider than normal? I mean, I have very, very narrow feet and tiny ankles. So for me, a lot of times the shoes are too wide. Is because they, once I get into that larger size, they expect the feet to be bigger. Yeah. They're not petite. It's not like my feet are petite, but they're not even delicate, but they're just narrow. So
it's the contrary for me. And if I I need to go to the larger size to make my feet fit. But for the long part, doesn't fit me, so it slides all the time. So I get bruises and stuff like that. So I stopped wearing shoes like that. And I love summer because I can put sandals on, and now they fit.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
So you talked to me a little bit how you want your business to be. So what do you expect from your business in the long term? Do you have goals? Or you said you want to make shoes and accessory, but do you want to increase your business, to have employees, to be worthwhile and stuff like that? What is your dream?
I do. I want to get to a point where the business is self-sustaining and all I'm doing is designing clothes. To be honest, I don't want to be making the clothes. I'm not a tailor. I'm a designer. So right now, everything that comes out of my company is made by me, which is cool, but I can't keep up, over time. Like if my orders tripled tomorrow, I would be shit out of luck. So, I mean, one of the new things on my site is I have duality hoodies coming, and those are being made overseas because there's just no way that I could do what they're doing. I couldn't even buy the fabric for as inexpensively as they're doing the hoodies for me.
But at the same time, when you get some more expensive clothes, it's like more designer, For me, price shouldn't be an issue because you always have your public for that. You always have a customer for that. So if one day you want to do hoodies and you want to bring it to a tailor, because in Canada and Montreal, I know some people, this is their living. They do tailoring for people. Yeah. It's a company and they are only doing tailoring for other designers. Right. That's very cool. So you could do that only in the US or something like that. Of course, the price is going to be extremely expensive to buy the thing, but it's okay because it's like I said, you have a public for that. You have a customer for that.
Exactly. And, I mean, if you go into pretty much any Nordstrom and you buy a shirt, they have tailors there. So you can get your measurements and the tailor will change up the shirt to fit, or the pants or whatever, to fit you properly. I mean, it costs money. Of course, it should cost money.
Yes.
But you can do that. And honestly, we as designers can't always make sure that everything is going to fit everyone. So having a tailor is awesome. And without exact measurements, it's impossible for me to tailor a shirt or a pair of pants perfectly for everyone. Like, unless you give me hips, waist, inseam, all that, there's no way that I can guarantee that my clothes are going to fit you like a glove. I mean, I might get lucky if your body is similar to mine, or if your body is similar to people that I've designed for before. But if you have a body type that I'm not familiar with, it's going to be hard for me to get that right without exact measurements. So,
which is normal because that's what is fast fashion, right? The clothing is all three model, small, medium, large, sometimes extra large if you're lucky, right? Yeah. So if they're expecting to have three body type, let's go.
Yeah. Well, and all of those items are stretch fabric,
Yeah,
which,
true.
it's fine. I mean, everyone's wearing stretch fabric right now, so it's easy. And typically stretch fabrics are softer, and they're easier to get in and out of, all those things. So and I'm using it a lot. I'm using stretch fabric a lot, and people like it. I like it. I like stretch fabric. It's awesome. I don't have to. It doesn't cut into you like other things do.
Yeah, it's true. It's so easy, and if you lose or gain weight, it still fits you for
Yeah,
a while.
exactly. So my pinstripe pants, which people can find on my website. I had someone ask me if I could do them in a maternity style, and I was like, "Whoa! I've never designed for maternity. I've never done that." And so I was like, "Okay, why not? I'll figure out how to do it." And I
Challenge.
did. And I mean, there's no way to make a pair of pants that's going to last through all terms, but you can make a pair of pants that will last probably through the second trimester. By the time you get into the third, it's like, okay, you need different pants. I mean, there's just no way to like have it stretch that much. And the cut would have to change so drastically but it's cool to have pants that you can have in before you're showing, and then into towards the end of the second trimester, for
I
sure.
guess it's possible, but you need to do some adjustment that can be changed, like
Yeah,
you little button, and you real maternity clothes as an elastic with a button, and you take off the button when you're at the third trimester or something like that.
I can do pleats in the back that would allow you to kind of open it up as you get as your belly gets bigger, but that's something that I'll have to play with, and I'll have to try and figure out. So,
yeah, it's true. So I just want to say that I'm thankful that you were here today. If you have something that you want to share or you want to say a little bit more, please, you just put your link under the description. Normally on the top you should see the link of his boutique if you're curious to see the clothing and stuff like that. I put a link on the top, I think, or if it's in the bottom, something like that, in the comment somewhere, you will find the link, and I'm going to put it back. Okay, so you don't worry with the comment, you will be able to see it. So if you want to help the ADHD Melly Show, you can be a member. You go to the ADHDMellyShow.com. You're going to have all the link of my social and how you can help contribution. If you want to be a guest, just write to me in the DM. I'll be so happy to see. I still have some time in August if you're curious about that. So I want to thank you again. It was very fun to speak with you, seriously. And
me too.
And I hope we will keep in touch, and we're going to speak again a little bit later,
And I'm gonna brush up on my French, because I do know a little bit, but not enough. I'm not going to embarrass myself right now, but I will brush up on my French. So maybe the next time we do this, I can at least like have a little bit of lingo with you in French.
Yeah, it could be fun. And if you come to Montreal,
you're like, no way. You're going to sound like an idiot. Just don't even try.
And if you come to Montreal, please tell me. It will be fun to meet, because the frontier is supposed to open soon. So we never know with the US, with kill COVID and stuff like that. You cannot cross anywhere, But it's supposed to be reopening for August, but I'm not sure yet. It will depend of Mr. Trudeau.
Right, exactly.
And Biden too. I think they speak to each other to decide.
Hopefully.
We're going to go bring all the Canadians to Florida for the for the winter. So thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Bye, everybody.